Hello and welcome to my YouTube channel. Welcome to Nat Fashion Hub, the best fashion channel in the world. So today, without wasting time, I'm going to show us how to do buttonhole using a manual machine like this. Okay, it's very simple and it's actually neat. Okay, you won't believe it. All right, so one of the ways you can do that is by applying any kind of gum you have, soft gum or hard gum, to your fabric, all right, the under of it, and then you ensure that you mark the length of the buttonhole you want to make. For instance, let's say it depends on the button size. Okay, you check the button size and you mark the length of the buttonhole you would want to make. Now for normal trouser button or shirt, okay, normal trouser button, you can see that if you would use, let's say from 5 here to 5.5 here, if you can make it this 5.5, 0.1, 0.2, this will be long enough for a trouser button. I'm going to show you the kind of trouser button. Alright, so you see, this is a trouser button. Okay, now you can see that this button, this place I've marked for this button hole, can actually, serve for this trouser button. So you don't just do it, you have to know the size of button you are doing your buttonhole for, and then measure it. I already known the size of this button. That was why I could tell that is just 0.2 above the half inch measurement. All right, we say this is our half inch from where we marked at 5 here. This is 5.5, 0.1, 0.2. you see, so I already know that this is the size of a trouser button. That was why I could easily mark. But if the button is smaller, you can see that for normal shirt button, just half inch length, okay, will be enough for normal shirt button. It's not good that buttonhole is too long. All right, so the next thing I'm going to do now, please pay attention, these are very key things. The next thing you do now is to mark this line I'm marking here. I am not going to stitch on this line. I am going to stitch beside this line. Okay, all right, I'm going to stitch so you can see it very well. I'm going to stitch beside this line. I also stitch beside this line. This is what I'm going to tear our buttonhole. All right, because if you sew too close to this line, by the time you open the buttonhole, you discover that it might want, a thread might want to pull out. Okay, so you don't sew directly on this line, you sew beside it. Okay, now the next thing you must ensure to do is to tighten your stitches. Don't allow your stitches to be loose when you are stitching your buttonhole. Let's work on it now. Don't allow your stitches to be loose when you are stitching your buttonhole. So I'm going to start here. Like I said, we're not going to stitch on the line, we're going to stitch beside the line. Okay, so where I'm starting now, I am stitching beside the line. All right, that mark I made there. So ensure that your stitches are tight. Okay, so let's go. So you sew back and forth just a little, or you can just sew straight. You turn it this way, you make just a stitch, not doubles, just a stitch, just move once and you turn it again. Like I said, your stitches should be tight. All right, when you reach the second mark, you turn it again. See what I'm doing? You make the stitch once, then you do what? You turn it again. Make sure your stitches are very tight. So there are two ways to do this. Like as before I started, I was moving it back, I was moving the machine back and forth. But you can decide to just run around like this. I think most of the times this gives a better result. It's more clean, all right, than when you are stitching back and forth. If you can just run a straight stitch like this repeatedly, it gives you most of the times a much more accurate result than when you are actually double stitching. All right, just ensure to run just round as I'm doing like this. You can run around like 4 to 5 times, yes, and your button hole will set. All right, like 4 to 5 times, and your button hole will set. Remember, your stitches have to be very tight. So we're almost done. Just once. So you can actually double stitch at the. Alright, so if you look at this, even from the back you can see how it is even from behind. Now coming to the front, you see how neat our buttonhole is. You can see this, very neat. All right, so when you are cutting now, you carefully use your seam ripper to, you see, you can easily open it here with your seam ripper. Wow, this is strong. And then while opening, you have to be very careful so that it doesn't open beyond, you know, where you actually want to open it, you see. And then what I normally do is I use my lighter. Okay, use my lighter at this point. All right, all the, take it off small, all these excess threads. All right, after cutting them off carefully, I use my lighter. All right, to make sure you see, this takes care of all the threads that would have. See what I'm doing? And you have your button straight up, your buttonhole. See? So you see, have our buttonhole now very clean. And if we are to use our button on it, discover that it is, you see, don't see this. Alright, so it's a very easy and a clean method of making a buttonhole using a manual machine. If you like the video, if it made sense, I would like you to hit the subscribe button, turn your notification bell on for more interesting content like this. Thank you so much. Thank you.